Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. Just wanted to go through what I do a couple times a year. I did a cleaning video a while back where I kind of went over different types of cleanings that I do on my firearms and what I suggest to friends and other folks that I do some work for. So just wanted to kind of lay out and talk a little bit about what I do routinely and what I do, a couple times a year. So, before we get started, if you guys can just do me a favor and go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, leave a comment, that'd be great. Again, the goal of this channel is really to just give as much information as I can that I come across to you folks. I try to really just document my experiences and things that I uncover and find out. I really like to dig into things, and when I come across a problem, I like to try to research different possible solutions, and then do some videos to upload to my channel so you guys can have that as a resource. And I especially like to do things that aren't really popular or out there as much on YouTube. So there you go. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you get something out of it. That's really the goal of the channel, and I actually love doing this. So it pairs really well. So without further ado, let's get started. So as you can see in front of us right here, I have a series of firearms laid out that are really stripped down to almost as far as they can go. If you have to use a punch to pull a coil pin out, basically I have not disassembled that on any of the firearms you see here. On the P320s, I have not disassembled the sear housings. Those are in there because I have not removed the coil pin. There is not a need to do that unless the firearm has had a good amount of rounds through them, and that's not what I'm doing here today. So just want to give you a quick overview, really. So what I like to do is, if I shoot a lot over the course of a week, a month, I'll field strip after every time I use my firearm. It's just what I got in the habit of doing. I like doing that. I don't want this carbon buildup to occur. So I field strip it, and I just do a quick once over to clean everything up when I get home. It takes me about 15 minutes per firearm, depending on how many I brought to the range. So that's a given. I'll do that just about every time I go to the range. If I have a specific firearm that I've shot quite a bit over the course of a month, I'll go ahead and I'll field strip it. And for the 320s, I'll pull the FCU out. I'll take a look at that and clean it. If it's really bad, I'll stick it in the ultrasonic cleaner for a little bit without disassembly. But that's what I'll do over the course of a month. From the DASAs, I won't strip the frame down. I'll kind of just get in there and clean that out as best I can. You can also put that into the ultrasonic cleaner if you need to as well. I'll typically, if the gun is fired a lot, I'll typically put the barrel in the ultrasonic cleaner. I'll use bore cleaner on that as well to get that good. So twice a year, I'll go through it like this, and I'll just take the components apart. I'll clean them by hand. I'll use the ultrasonic cleaner to clean off the internals, as you see here, completely disassembled. And then I'll just kind of wipe them off. I'll inspect them. I'll make sure the parts look good. There's no issues with them. And then this is just something I like to do. I don't know how many there are here. There are 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, these are 10 handguns that I have out that I'm working on right now. So it's just part of their schedule to get done. So again, my procedure for cleaning with this type of full service cleaning is I'll strip everything down. I'll take the internals. I'll use the ultrasonic cleaner. I have two different kind of ultrasonic cleaners. One is it's really was made for jewelry, but what I like to use is the Lucas Oil bore solvent. So I'll go ahead and use the extreme duty. I'll put that in there, and that, like I said, removes lead, copper, carbon, fouling, oil, powder residual, and it's made to be used in the ultrasonic cleaner. The one thing I really like about the Lucas Oil ultrasonic cleaner is it leaves a smooth, sort of lubricated, dry surface on the parts. So a lot of times when you use the ultrasonic cleaner, it will really dry the material because it's pulling all the oils and the grease out of there. This Lucas one doesn't really do that. It leaves a nice a lubricated dry surface, which I really like for the internals. You wipe it down and then you can feel them. They're really lubricated, right? Not wet where they're going to draw dirt, but lubricated, right? I have another ultrasonic that I use, not for more of the internal components, but for things like the barrel. Sometimes I will put the slide in there, and if it has an optic on it, I'll make sure that I create a jig where the slide can sit and be in the solution, but the optic sits above, so I don't even have to take the optic off. That was a little risky when I first started doing that, but it saves having to re-zero. And I found with the jig, I use a plastic jig that I sit in there. It works really well. So it's able to clean and get in there and really take care of it. And for the larger ultrasonic cleaner, for the larger parts, I'll even put the non-polymer, so the metal lowers, like frames or grip modules. I'll put those in there. Of course, you got to take lights and things like that off. But for that, I use the Simple Green Heavy Duty Pro HD. So you want to make sure it's Pro HD all in one. That's good for metal. And you'll see right there it says safe for metal surfaces. So this is a concentrate. You mix it with water. But what you got to keep in mind is it will dry out the metal. So you got to make sure that you use some CLP on there just to make sure you can get some good lubrication on there. And I'm not sure if you guys were able to see that, if I got it in the camera before, but this is the Lucas oil that I use right there, the bore solvent. All right, so that's what I do. Like I said, I'll lubricate the parts with CLP that went in where I use the Simple Green, and the Lucas. I'll just kind of dry those off, inspect them, and I'll put everything back together. I'll make sure everything has the proper lubrication. I really like to get lubrication around the trigger, where the trigger interacts with the FCU. Inside the disconnector on the P320s, I like to do that as well. So there's a combination of grease and gun oil that we use, and you can see on the bench there that I have CLP and I have and gun oil, and I am a big fan of the Lucas Extreme Duty gun oil and CLP. The one thing you want to pay particular attention to is in where the firing pin and the striker goes. That has to be extremely dry. So Lucas oil makes an extreme dry gun cleaner. You can feel free to use that in there after it comes out of the ultrasonic and after you have used CLP on it, just to really get a layer of lubrication after it comes out of the Simple Green. You can use the Lucas gun cleaner. It goes in there wet. You can get a Q-tip. You rub that around in there, and you can really pull out some extra dirt and material. And the good thing is that will dry. That'll be a dry section then. And then you can. I also use that on the striker and on anything that sits in that channel when it comes out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Even though it's in the Lucas oil, I will use the extreme gun cleaner, extreme dry gun cleaner, to really get that that dry, right? So there's nothing on it that's wet at all that could attract dirt. So that's very important in the slide, is to make sure we keep that really dry when it comes out. Other than that, it's just like your normal clean and reassembly, making sure that oil's where it needs to be. The top of the barrel is a place I pay specific attention to. The slide, where the slide interacts with the barrel at the 5 locking points. And that's really it. And then I reassemble everything. I'll use also a silicone cloth when everything is done. And I'll just wipe everything down nice. I'll get that silicone layer on it, so when it sits in the safe, it's not dry and there's no potential of having any rusting issues. And I know one of the firearms I have here is the P365X Macro. I have seen things on YouTube where people are complaining about rust buildup around the sights and other areas, the magazines. I have yet to experience that. My X Macro I've had since earlier this year. I've put well in excess of 1,000 rounds on that, and I am now carrying it just every day, just about every day. And I have not experienced anything like that. I do take care of it. You know, on my EDC, when I come home, I'll keep a silicone cloth at the case, and I'll make sure I rub that down to get any of my body sweat off of it or anything like that, lint, things like that. I'll go into those areas around the sites pretty good. You know, it takes me about 30 seconds to kind of wipe that down, go through and stick it back in the safe. Is it excessive? Yeah, it probably is, but I just, you know, I like to take care of these things, you know, and I'm pretty religious in doing that every time I use it. I'll take the magazine out as well and just wipe that down in the mag well, and inside the grip too, to make sure that that's that there's no sweat or anything in there that could you know, cause rusting. So I have not had any experience in there, but I do. I probably do much more than the normal person does in terms of cleaning their firearms. But that's me. Everybody, you don't have to do this, but it's just something that I recommend. If you're gonna have, you know, expensive firearms like this, you want to take care of them. So that's all. Anyway, that's what I got to do. I'm gonna be going through here, and I'll be cleaning these up and getting them back together and getting them back in the safe and ready for next time that I use them. But I wanted to share this process with you, and you know, kind of let you guys know what I do. If you have any questions or comments, you know, please drop those down in the comment section. Love to hear what you guys do. If you have any questions about what I do, I'd be more than happy to share that with you. Like I said, what I do isn't you don't have to do it. It's certainly not something that is required. It's definitely something that you know, I like to do on my own. And is it a little bit above and beyond? Some might say so. Most people might say so. But for me, it's worth it. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Look forward to hearing your comments. Hope you guys are well. Be safe, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.